welcome to the House of Canaan, UCB United Congregational Baptist Church of Reality. I am glad to be in your presence one more time. We're going to go into Judges, the 16th chapter. We're talking about Samson and Delilah on today. This going to be very epic. We know Samson had strength, and he had his strength from his hair. We're going to learn all this in we're going to hear all this in today's reading. So let's listen up. Sometime later, Samson fell in love with a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. The rulers of the Philistines went to her and said, "See if you can lure him into showing you the secret of his great strength and how we can overpower him. Each one of us will give you 1,100 shekels of silver." So Delilah said to Samson, "Tell me the secret of your great strength and how you can be tied up and subdued." Samson tests her with lies, and the Philistines tried to catch him 3 times without success. But Delilah continued to nag him day after day. So he told her everything. "No razor has ever been used on my head," he said, "because I have been a Nazarene, set apart to God since birth. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me, and I would become as weak as any other man." When Delilah saw that he had told her everything, she sent word to the rulers of the Philistines. So the rulers of the Philistines returned with the silver in their hand, having put him to sleep on her lap. She called a man to shave off the 7 braids of his hair, and so began to subdue him, and his strength left him. Then he called, "Samson the Philistine, are upon you." He woke from his sleep and thought, "I'll go out as before and shake myself free." But he did not know that the Lord had left him. Then the Philistines seized him, gauged out his eyes, and took him down to Gaza. Binding him in bronze shackles, they set him to greeting in the prison, but the hair on his head began to grow again after it had been shaved. Now I want you to listen up even close to what I'm about to say now, because what I'm about to say now is going to give you more and more understanding to the story. Now the rulers of the Philistines assembled to offer a great sacrifice to Dagon, their god, and to celebrate, saying, Over God, our God has delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hands. While they were in high spirits, they shouted, Bring out Samson to enter, enter, entertain, entertain us. So they called Samson out of the prison, and he performed for them. The temple was full, and about 3,000 people had crowded unto the roof. Samson asked to be led to the pillars that supported the temple. There he prayed to God for his strength to return one more time. Let me let me with one blow get revenge on the Philistines for my two eyes. Then Samson reached towards the two central pillars on which the temple stood, bracing himself against them. Samson said, Let me die with the Philistines. Then he pushed with all his might, and down came the temple on the rulers and all the people in it. Thus he called many more when he died than while he lived. Then his brothers and his father's whole family buried him between Zorah and Ishtael, Ishtael in the tomb of Manoah, his father. Now, let's get an understanding to the story. The main understanding to this story is the story shows how God uses Samson's weaknesses to bring out Israel's deliverance by breaking his Nazarite obligations and piercing fin- pursuing foreign foreign woman. Samson symbolizes the Israelites who abandoned God's law to worship idols. Yet, like the people he leads, he knows where to turn in time of need, and God shows him mercy. Now, let's look at the Judges 16th chapter. We look at the fourth verse that says, Sometime later, he fell in love with a woman named Delilah who lived in the Sorek Valley. Now, the name, whose name was Delilah, the name Delilah means flit, flit, flitter, flitter, and has become associated with treasury. Delilah also means duty. In contrast, Samson means son one, alleging to his strength and vitality. vi- Vitality. Now, verse 5, I want you to pay close attention as I read verse 5. The Philistine leaders went to her and said, Produce, pursued him to tell you where his great strength comes from, so we can overpower him, tie him up, and make him helpless. Each of us will then give you 1,100 pieces of silver. The rulers of the Philistines. Philist, Philistine, Philistia, Philistia was a confederation of 5 prosperous cities, each governed by a price. These prices are called rulers in the book of Judges. 1,100 shekels of silver. The Philistines, a word that meant tyrants in Hebrew, paid a fortune to capture Samson, about 275 times the price of a silver. And that's our time. We thank Almighty God for showing us the way that we continue to be about our Father's affairs. And may God bless you and may God keep you all.